Good afternoon. Welcome to the Midday Mull for Tuesday, the 9th of July. With Robert Murray McShane, we're working our way through the Gospel of Matthew, today reading the 19th chapter. And in the 13th verse we read, "Then people brought little children to Jesus for him to place his hands on them and pray for them. But the disciples rebuked them. Jesus said, 'Let the little children come to me, and do not hinder them, for the kingdom of heaven belongs to such as these.' When he had placed his hands on them, he went on from there." I think a fairly well-known little incident, and as I was thinking about it, I thought the disciples once again managed to get things wrong. And for me, that's an encouragement because I can identify with that all too often. But reading it, I thought, I'd like to assume, and I do assume, that the disciples weren't being ugly and horrible and mean. They did it with good intentions. They may well have thought Jesus has been busy. There's all these adults that he's dealing with. And the fact that he prayed for them and then went on from there, Jesus is getting ready to go. There isn't time, just manage it. And they did what they thought was right, but they were wrong. And I recognize in my own life that happens all too often, that I do something well-intentioned that I think is right, but in some way I've misread the situation, misread the circumstances, and I get things wrong. And I need to recognize how Jesus doesn't reprimand and berate and malign or in any way chastise the disciples. He just corrects them. And we just pray, God, correct us as well. Because with good intentions, we get things wrong quite often. I think the second thing is we need to recognize that in other people, we mustn't think when people do things that are wrong or appalling or out of court that they've done it intentionally. We need to assume that they've done it with good intentions, that they've done it meaning well, but getting it wrong. And we need to deal with them accordingly, giving them slack, helping them, gently correcting them rather than judging. And so as Jesus works with us, as Jesus works with the people round about us, he calls little children, and we come to him in our frailty and our weakness and our failure, and we find his grace, his love, and his compassion. Be blessed.